Today I'm joined in studio by New Zealand First Party leader Winston Peters. Kia ora, Mr. Peters.
Kia ora.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's been a long time.
What have you been up to in the past few years?
Well, getting on with my life, keeping the party alive and strong, building it up, and doing some of the things that I haven't been able to do for a while.
We'll get on to that. First of all, can you tell me what's your reaction to the situation in Taipa?
Look, I don't know the facts, but some things will be a fact. First of all, the land won't belong to Ngāti Kahu. It'll belong to the people from Ngāti Kahu who belong on that camping ground, and them alone. That's number one. Number two, it's a legal issue as to the facts. And three, I would have thought it would have been already a subject to a claim to yet be heard. So if you see it that way, and given that the government's promised to do these things with the greatest of expedition, then you could look forward to a finality, excepting on their present speed, you'd have to wait another 1,000 years to hear the case out.
So how would you fix that?
Well, it's a matter of who's telling the truth here, the facts. And under the English law that we inherited, theft is theft. But you see, you've got to know the facts first. And so I don't want to rush to judgment. Let's find out what the truth is.
Do you think the Crown should buy the Taipa Reserve back off the council and give it to Ngāti Kahu?
Well, again, I want to find out what the facts are, and I can't just look at that program. No, I've been to that camping ground, and it's a glorious part of the world. I don't want to give a judgment until I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Which is pretty important.
Which is typical of you, isn't it, really?
Well, no, I mean, you can't rush to judgment. I want to see where the truth lies. But whatever it does, if there's any entitlement, it'll belong to the Maori there who've kept the place warm over all these centuries and up to now. Not to every Tom, Dick and Harry, as you commonly see with protests. OK, so you're fighting to get back into Parliament. Exactly how is that coming along? We're on target. The party's just been through its 70th National Convention across the Christchurch, and we think we're, with long, hard work, we're going to make it. Particularly since such a void in New Zealand politics today, in economic and social life, and a lot of things that we've been saying for a long time are going to become more and more relevant. You've got new policies, have you? Yeah, a great number of new policies, but policies for the times, and then some which are tried and true, and which other great and successful economies have followed, and which we've advocated, but which they failed in the last 26 years to follow here, much to our economic and social decline. Mr. Peters, with all due respect, our research shows that your policies are the same as last time. So how do you expect people to vote for you? They didn't vote you back in last time. What's changed? Look, you know what happened last time? Some of your colleagues got into the worst, most vicious character assassination over 5 months, and when it was all over, they had nothing. But it didn't matter. They hadn't done the damage. We're not changing our policies because of that. Our view on the appalling loss to New Zealand's economy of a high dollar and growing unemployment and high interest rates has never changed. Our view on looking after New Zealanders and our resources before anything else has never changed. Our view on focused, planned immigration that we need, not that needs us, has never changed. They'll be very relevant in 2011. What has changed is the people you're targeting. New Zealand First used to be all about the grey vote, and I see this time round you're targeting the youth vote. Are you serious? Do you really think the young people are going to vote for you? Well, we've never been all about the grey people, or the grey-haired people. God bless them. But we've never taken the view that just because you're old, that you're inferior. Most other parties and many journalists make that mistake. I mean, I don't know what they want to do when they get older, or they're not hoping to get old, but it's a part of a decent society. We've also been focused on young people. That's why we brought in free medicine for under sixes. We've always argued for a universal allowance for tertiary students. That's what's going to make us relevant. We've been the first party that argued for it. We still do. Now, you've got all these students going to the holiday shortly. There's no jobs for them. And for 4 or 5 months, they're going to be desperately trying to hang on what used to take them during their terms to live with, now all over Christmas. Really, a crisis is here, and New Zealand First has policies to address those issues, and that is why we've got significant interest on campus now. Tell me about the issue that you have with the current media. I haven't got an issue with the current media at all. National Business Review says that you have.
Well, with the greatest respect to the National Business Review, you know as well as I, and that internationally there's a comment now, there's been a serious decline in media standards. I've never blamed the journalists for that. I've blamed, in the main, your foreign ownership, your overseas ownership, and instantaneous tabloid presentation. It's hardly the journalists or reporters' fault. In fact, I'm on your side. I've made these speeches for the last 20 years, the moment I first saw the tabloid approach coming in this country, and nothing has changed. Now, my point is, with the media is, that doesn't absolve you in a small society from professional responsibility.
It's funny that you say that you're friends with the media. Phil Kitchen has said that you said, Phil, I'm not speaking to a lying wanker. No, did you say that to him, and then you called him a lying gripper?
That's exactly what I said to him, because he was doing just that, claiming that we'd received cheques and making all sorts of statements in the front page of the Dominion that was goading him and provoking this for political reasons, and yet those cheques were never, ever cashed. So how could he be right and I be wrong? But he wasn't interested in that, and nor was the Dominion. So all I'm laying out for you is the facts now. I call him that because that's what he was.
So are you saying that that whole Owen issue was wrong?
Yes, I'm saying it's totally false and totally misleading, because if you're contributing to a joint case, in this case to do with democracy, where no one gets any benefit at all, none of us did, and many people are contributing to this case, what was wrong with that? It was not outlawed by the law, and Nick Smith had the identical case only for a defamation case, which was far more personal, far more self-serving. Mine was purely to see who was the right person to have been elected in this electorate. Now,
have you reinvented yourself?
No, but here's the point. What did they do? They looked at this issue. There was no rule to justify what they did, so they wrote one, and it applied against me retrospectively. That's what you call a kangaroo court. And I said so, but you don't want me to start saying, well, somehow that behaviour is right.
Hey, it sounds like you haven't changed at all. Have you changed? Have you... Why should people vote for you now?
Because my policy and my position has stood the test of time. All around Europe and Australia, they're winding back on immigration dramatically during these times of credit crunch. You know what our unemployment is right now? It is not what the government tells you. The latest Roy Morgan survey, just out this week, has it at 9.7. 9.7. 15 to 29-year-olds, 22%. The Maori figures and Samoan figures and Pacific figures are dramatically bad. So, you know, the party that understands that and the leader that understands that and has put his country first for a long time, despite what some of my critics say, they've got a great chance in 2011.
The Prime Minister's already indicated that he wasn't that interested in having you as part of a national government.
Oh, really? That's not what he said lately.
Has that changed?
You go and ask him, but that's not what he's been saying lately.
What's he been saying? You tell me what.
He's been looking at the National Party polling of what New Zealand First is doing. And he might have changed his mind now.
You're looking forward to getting back?
Look, I could quite happily just go and have a great life. But frankly, I've always been a patriot. I make no bones about being a nationalist. And I think that my country needs serious reform, that is orthodox reform, not the kind of economic and social experiment which has been a disaster the last 26 years. You've seen the dollar going through 80 cents. You've got children today, you know, 1 week being totally brutalised, despite some of the social reform like this anti-smacking legislation. A total failure. That's why they need New Zealand First, to put in real practical policies.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Peters. I look forward to interviewing you again.
And so do I. Thank you very much.
Kia ora. Back to you, Scotty.
Tēnā koe, Jodie. Te manu kura, Winston, tēnā koe mō kōrero I tēnei ata.